Boys Road, it's gotta be back the other way. Boys Road, the G-Pump, ain't no G-Pump? Well, yeah. That's Boys Road, no, that's the road. Cross that by Nakanishi? Cross right there at Nakanishi. That's Boys and Old Everett.
So across, well, it's over there, it's way back, you can't.
Oh, yeah, they are doing something over there. I know what you're talking about now. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I don't think they put the logo on me back off in the hole where you couldn't see it.
I don't know, it's a lot of land back there.
Yeah. But anyway,
Well,
you should know, you Clark County.
I don't care.
All right, it's 6 o'clock, folks. It's time to get started. See anybody here that I need to welcome other than us that's normally here. So welcome everybody to our business meeting. And we'll open with a word of prayer and we'll get started. Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for life, health, strength. Thank you for safe travel. Father, we thank you for everything that you've done for us and what you're willing to do. Father, we pray for this country. We pray for this nation. We pray for everybody in this entire world. Father, get into our minds. Give us the ability to do what we've been assigned to do. We're doing it, thanking and praising you. Father, we ask you to go with us as we leave this place. Stand by us, and we'll be so careful to give you all the honor, the praise, and the glory. In Jesus Christ's name we pray. Amen. Amen. All right.
Did everything pass last night?
It did. It passed unanimously. There was only 4 commissioners there. The chairman was absent, the vice chairman was absent. I guess the third chairman ran as chairman.
At the meeting before they elected him, I told them they had to elect a pro tem, chairman pro tem. That's the Robert's rules term.
Okay.
There you go.
But anyway, everything did pass. It passed unanimously. Actually, during our meeting, we had some opposition last night. Wasn't any opposition at all.
Oh.
Even some of the opposition was there, but they didn't.
Wow.
They didn't say anything, so.
I think they got the message it was a civil matter.
Yeah, that one, you know, so. Okay. I think all of us got the minutes of April 2nd and April 16th. Could I get a motion to approve those minutes, please?
I make a motion to approve for April 2nd and 16th.
We have a motion to approve the minutes of April 2nd and April 16th, and this second. I'll second. We move properly second that the minutes be approved for April 2nd and April 16th. Any discussion? If not,
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes. These minutes are approved. All right, Ms. Tracy, we're going to turn it over to you.
All right. Jeannie Dillard, applicant for Helen Bradley, is requesting to rezone a 4-acre portion from A1 to AR to allow the 4-acre split to gift to a family member. The remaining acreage will stay in the A1 zone. Property is located at 1645 Highway 98 West in Danielsville on map 39, parcel 1. And this is actually coming out of a 90-acre tract of land, which part of it's in the county and part of it's in Iowa city limits. So she had wanted to do 2 acres in the county and 2 acres in the city, but I told her we can't go down to 2 acres. So she was able to move 4 acres in the county. So that's what we come up with. But it's for her great-grandniece, and it's for her home site, and it just came out of CUVA, so there'll be no breach. There is an easement over 1,500 feet, but it is existing.
All right, any questions about this one?
Is that Iowa City limits line correct?
They
Because
may
our
have,
map doesn't show any of the tracks even around it, did it?
Yeah, I
She
tell
lives
you,
right there, that's my age, so I know she lives right there, right at the city limit somewhere.
And it's signed, okay, so it must be our maps.
It's right in our clothes, I'm not sure.
Okay, must be our maps that are incorrect then.
but none of us in the island that she's asking to rezone in.
no,
So it's kind of,
sir.
okay.
Mhm.
Any further?
So this is an existing home. She just wanted to cut it off. Open it for it.
I think it is, sorry.
Be a mobile home on 4 acres.
Yes, I'm sorry, it is.
And that long block, that's
Mm-hmm. It's just an easement.
So that mobile home's already there?
Mm-hmm.
Did she live on top
Yeah.
in the mobile home?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
All right, anything else? All right.
Okay. Next up is Wayne Chandler, and he is requesting to rezone a 4.01 acre portion of his property from A2 to AR to allow it to be split off to give to his daughter. The remaining property will stay in the A2 zone. Property is located at 21 Floyd Road in Danielsville on map 39, parcel 15 in District 2. So this gentleman's just wanting to give his daughter 4 acres. There's an existing home on it that actually belonged to his parents, which are deceased now, and so the daughter's gonna be living in that house, and he just wants to give her the 4 acres with it.
How many acres is it total?
It was 25.18. And he's just giving her the 4 acres. And, it's in Cuba, but no breach, was created from this move.
Go from A2 to AR.
Mm-hmm. Just a portion of it, that 4 acre portion.
Well, I got a question on this one. This is 25 acres, but 8.166 of that 25 is across Floyd Road. So are they're ultimately making 3 tracks out of this 25 acres. Is that right?
Yeah, we still follow that rule that a road doesn't create a new tract.
It's still,
Keep them together until somebody takes
so
action.
it's not gonna be
So it'll
3
actually be
acres.
2.
It'll just be 2 tracks.
This says tract 1 is 8.1 on this side of the
Yeah.
road, and then over here is the new one that's being cut, 4.01, tract 2, and then 13.01 is tract 3.
You are correct.
Track 1 is 8.166.
Well, I've seen that.
Track 3 is, I
It
mean,
does look like track 2 is 4 acres, and track 3 is 13.
So they're cutting it twice.
Yeah.
And then A2 won't work for track 1.
No, it won't. I did not catch that. I can revise it.
Let's see. No, A2, that's less than 10, so it won't work for that.
Look right here.
Mm-hmm.
Look at this, under the approved, this is
Uh-huh.
on the recorded plat. It says Linda Fortson, tract 1, parcel 15-01, tract 2, parcel 15. But that's not the way it's mapped, is it?
No, she would have signed parcel numbers without going through property valuation.
So that's why Mr. Paul picked it up that way, though.
Yeah, that's right. So what would you suggest, Mike, in this case?
Turn the camera off, turn the lights out, get our mask out, and take a nap.
Sounds good. Sounds really good.
If I knew how to fix the last 100 years here, I'd have done it by now.
Did we not have that, what you read? Did we not go back one?
Oh, you talked the plat.
Or we must not have that one, that's what you read it off of?
No, well, no, it's in your.
Yeah,
So there's two plans,
It's not in
very
our,
back.
it's not in our packet, but it's on.
No, it's not in our plan.
Not
It's not in
Okay.
our plat, okay.
Oh, I just printed off what was on the computer.
Okay.
It's on his computer, we just don't have a hard copy of it.
Yeah, we don't have that, okay. So do you need to get Wayne back in to redo this, or what are you going to do with that? Cause we know that 8 won't be 8,
It's already, well, no, I mean, so this plat's already recorded, so. That's water under the bridge. So, I think we just leave it alone. Tract 1 is a non-conforming 8-2, is that what it is? Yeah. Which was created wrongfully. So I don't know, if y'all wanna kick it, y'all wanna open that can of worms and start over? Alright. So it's a non-conforming 8-2.
Okay.
But it's not gonna mess up, it can be split 3 times, right?
It's already been split once, it should be split one more time.
So we're
It
good.
was split once wrongfully,
Yeah.
but that's already happened.
Oh, wow.
so once you split off the 4 acres, then tract 3 will be,
13.1.
no,
If they
Or
have,
that's
how
without,
much land they have totally,
it's 13 left.
25?
But that
Tract
counts the
3 would
8.1 across the
stay
road.
in
That
8.
count, well, then if they, 13 and 8 is 21, and the 4 acres be 25, so it's still, and that's cutting the 4 acres off, it still be, 10 acres, you gotta have for A2, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So it's still, it'd be okay,
It'd be okay.
yeah.
Seeing our tax map
What we're
shows,
doing now is conforming.
Yeah.
What was done when it was
Back then was not.
in 2017 was not.
and the zoning map is showing it as one parcel, so. But Q Public shows it.
You know, I didn't take y'all to raise.
So all we're looking at is track,
Yeah.
is track 3.
Yeah.
That's all we need to be concerned with, track 3.
Well, they're cutting out
You know,
tract 2.
if you go further than that, then.
No, I mean, taking the 4 acres out
Where
of
you gonna
track
stop?
3.
Yeah, we're taking 4 acres out, so.
So that's why I said, all we need to be concerned, that's a separate track.
Yeah, just go ahead and.
Yeah, just take the 4 acres out of the tract. Don't worry about tract 1.
We'll act like that's not even existing.
Tract 1 doesn't even exist. Okay.
Sorry about that, guys.
I'm assuming there's already a
You know that?
driveway, Floyd Road to that?
Yes.
It is, yeah.
Oh, mess about something. Number 3.
Okay, hold this up real quick. Yes,
Yeah, tell me,
see
tell me
there,
how you pronounce that?
Hung,
Hung.
H-U-N-G. So Tony Hung is requesting a variance on his 38-acre property to allow a portion of a proposed poultry house to be built closer to an interior common property line than what is required with a 166.8-foot deficit. Property is located at 0 Pioli Road in Carlton on map 105, parcel 107, in District 4, and then I'll go ahead and read the second. He is requesting a variance on a 70-acre property to allow a portion of an existing poultry house to be closer to the interior common property line than what is required with a 129-foot deficit. So what he's got now is, him and his father own, these two tracts. Currently one of them 70 acres and the other one is 38 acres. So Tony is wanting to build 8 new poultry houses on the vacant tract. And due to setback requirements, the interior property line of both tracts will be on one corner of the poultry house. It'll be a little bit short than what's required as setback. So when he moves the property lines around, the site plan shows tract 1 as 41.18 acres and tract 2 is 64.89. He's wanting to keep it separately. Right now it's all together, but he's got an aging father who's like 80 now, and he is wanting to just split the farms up just so he will have his, he wants these just in his name, whereas the other existing is in him and his father's name. So that's the main intent of it, is to keep it separate. And he's tried to work the property lines every which way but loose, and he's coming up with a deficit of 129.5 feet on one, and then a deficit of 166.8 feet on the other tract. And it is in Cuba, and they are willing to pay the $34,000 breach.
All right.
That's a lot of deficit.
Mm-hmm. What was it?
That's a lot of favors.
Several years ago, we went through the same thing. And if I can remember, these chicken, whatever, farms, that he wants to put in, is a company telling he has put 8 in there, or he's just wanting, because that's what we came up against last time. Do you really need 8, or can you go with 6?
Well, I did mention that. I said, well, since you can't meet these setbacks, do you want to take off some? And he's wanting the 8.
Yeah, because I think whatever.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying, I remember companies are requiring them to have so many.
Right.
So in order to be with that company, they had to have so many. But if it's not applying, if it's not fitting in what you need to do, you need to take one off.
And I
What I
suggested that.
Is them two tracks are together, it's got 8 already on one track, or, so it's already not performing close to proper lines, right?
Well, currently it is, but this site plan, though, the way they're wanting to readjust the interior line,
Then it will
then
be.
it's making it, but currently it is okay.
So we're gonna have 2 non-conforming tracts of land there if they readjust it.
Well, they're asking for 2 variances.
And his argument is, it's not affecting the neighbors and their setback requirements, it's just them two.
Well, how come he can't turn it around?
And he's been through that, and there's no way, the way the topography of the land, he has worked with an engineer, and there's just no way to turn it. There's the way the land is shaped, and we went through extensive talks about this.
Well, I guess, my feeling is, this is not public hearing, but if he's asking for 30 feet or 40 feet or 20 feet, or, you're talking about 100. Jesus, that's
Does he own both of these tracts?
Yes, sir.
Together, his father and he own both together.
Right.
Now, if he made it into one
Exactly.
parcel,
That's exactly what we required Danny Martin on Transco Road to do a couple of years ago. His interior line was the same thing, and he had to opt to drop it, to combine the property.
But according to Tracy, this guy doesn't want to do that, because he wants to keep his part, and then wants his daddy to have his.
So are they gonna do deeds to separate the ownership after this split?
Or is it just the chicken houses that they're wanting to kind of keep separate?
Well, just,
Not the land or?
yeah, no, he's wanting the land all by himself to take out of his dad's name, because right now both tracts are in both names. And since his father's aging, he's just wanting to split that off separately.
I know.
So he wants one just in his name.
Mm-hmm.
I know if we do this, say down the road, they want to sell that one property. The new owners may not like that new,
Well, if it's approved, there's nothing they can do about it.
I know
But
that.
yeah, you're right.
I know
They do have no intentions to sell, but,
Oh, well,
anything. Yeah,
Oh, yeah, right.
we can take that to the bank.
So that one, the one we did 2 years ago, we didn't have that one. Or did he lower his number of chicken houses?
I remember what you're talking about, but I can't remember what.
Yeah, we had the same.
What the decision was.
We had the same thing, and it was either he had to only build so many chicken houses, or.
and I think it was less variance on that than what.
Oh, it was a lot less.
Oh, yeah, it was less.
I mean, I haven't seen one that's asking for other than some fees. Haven't seen that since I've been here. That's a lot.
And I told him it would be a hard one
Unbelievable.
to get past.
But we'll see when the public comes up.
I say either drop the interior property line and combine the properties, or trim down the number of chicken houses.
You know, that's kind of my opinion.
Yeah, me too. 'Cause I think that's what we did on the other one.
But
Yeah.
we have to give him the opportunity to explain why.
But if
Yeah.
he moves it back, he won't meet the line either.
Right. He could take away one of those proposed chicken houses and we'd be fine.
And he can make it.
He still can make the same amount of money. Almost, I don't know.
All right.
Tracy, I was just gonna point, I noticed that, on the application form, we're using the term use variance up here, and area variance down here, but neither one of those appear in the ordinance anymore. They're all now special exception variances.
Oh. And it's, right, you talking about the
Second line
second
says
line?
use variance, and then as you go down towards the bottom, right under the last bolded dates there, it says in order for an area variance. But it should be special exception variance.
Okay, gotcha.
I think that was some old language that we got rid of when we did variances.
Okay.
All right, Tracy, order number 5, section.
Okay.
Let me ask this just for some clarification to help us on this. I noticed at the bottom of the application, it has on here now that in order for an area variance to be considered, it must be claimed that it would create an unnecessary hardship.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea, yeah.
And 1, 2, 3, and 4,
So that was, so now we have special exception variance, and, which is 11.1, and hardship variance, which is 11.2. Off the top of my head, I'm not sure which one of those sections. I think that 1 through 4 is coming out of special exception variance. No? Neither one, it's not either one of those. I think that 1 through 4 is also old.
And that's, yeah, when we got switched over to the company that we're on now, they pulled it from our other
Is that who created this form? Okay.
Edmund,
Edmonds, okay.
yeah.
All right, I didn't know about Edmonds.
Oh, yeah. We had to go in about maybe 4 months ago, and it's just a nightmare.
What's that? What is it?
It's a whole new software that we changed our permitting to.
Oh, that's that, okay. Gotcha. So they generated this form?
Right.
Okay. Well, yeah. They picked up random language from different places.
Okay, I'll make a note.
Is 5 and 6 together?
Yes, they are.
3 and 4.
No, 5 and 6. 3 and 4 and
3
5
and
and
4.
6.
You're right. I didn't read all the way.
Richard Hill. Okay.
All right. This one is a doozy. So it's Mitchell and Nancy Hill, and they're requesting to rezone their 17.48 acres from A1 to AR to allow an approximate 5-acre split to give their grandson and for 2 future splits. Property is located at 0 Charles Bruce Road in Mansfield on map 49, parcel 79 in District 4. They're also requesting a variance on an approximate 5-acre portion of the property to allow a new split to only have 125 feet of road frontage, creating a 25-foot deficit. And this one, I talked to him about it and I explained the rules, that his intent is he has 3 grandchildren that he's going to split that property out for. One of the grandchildren's ready to go with it, and they want to cut out 5 acres, and so that's the reason of this. But the other 2 are not ready; they're still in school, so he just knows there'll be 2 future splits. And he's also waiting for it to get out of Cuba to do those 2 future splits. Let's see.
How does he know his road frontage if this is all he's got? This is the site plan, I assume.
Yeah, and what we were looking at is,
Measuring 2 on Q movements.
yeah, that's it. And so he's only wanting that one split to have 125 acres, although he has enough road frontage to do that. Let's see.
You mean 125 feet, right?
Yeah, he's wanting to do 125 feet of road frontage, even though he has approximately 296 feet of road frontage.
Which leaves 171.
Right.
For future use.
Right. So he would have enough for one more split, but then that third split wouldn't have any. So,
Well, they'd have to do.
Well, why did he wait until that happens to ask for the variance?
He needs to give us his overall plan up front instead of leaving it hanging with 171 feet, in my opinion.
right.
See, he could give the 150 foot on this property here, and he'd still have 21 feet left over to deal with on the second split.
But when the,
They put easement in, that way
Yeah,
the
they-
driveway. back to
And
there.
I tried to explain that to him, and he just bent and determined that that's not gonna work. And he wants to save.
But I got 3 kids.
Yeah.
I got 6 kids.
And I told him, I said, you know, I can't see him approving something like that when
You
you've
can deal with
got
that when
road
that time comes.
But he was very adamant about it, and, so one of the future splits will have adequate road frontage, but the other one will require an easement.
right.
So,
Well, they'd have to.
but he didn't wanna, recognized those two splits yet, because
Why do we get
two
the
of them.
difficult ones in when they have 13 like this?
Believe me.
Oh.
And then he's gonna get a survey and realize that none of it was probably right.
Oh,
It's gonna
right.
Screw up his whole plan
Yeah.
Yeah,
altogether.
exactly.
You know, if I remember right, it says in the zoning ordinance that the zoning administrator has discretion to require site plans.
Mhm.
You might want to start exercising that discretion and requiring them, not just requiring site plans certified by a surveyor.
Surveyor, yeah. That's right.
You got a lot of surveys in here from various surveyors.
This is a perfect
They're right.
example.
Right.
Yeah.
He really didn't know what he was.
No.
He's
He's
probably a visual.
I mean, he thinks he knows what he wants.
Yeah.
He can't
Yeah.
see it until it's visual.
All right, well, this next one, this is a comeback, right?
It is, because he was in the hospital and missed that meeting we had, a couple months ago.
Okay.
Because he was out that night and found out he was in the hospital. So he's coming back before us, and, it's James and Jenny Fleming. They're requesting to rezone their 5.63 acres from A2 to AR to bring the property into compliance with zoning regulations after a portion of the property is split out for a proposed private cemetery. Property is located at 220 Jasmine Drive in Hull on map 46, parcel 52F in District 3. And as I was talking to him, since he has, only 5.63 acres, he's non-conforming in the A2. But once the cemetery, the private cemetery rule, there's no minimum acreage required. And, so he's thinking about cutting an acre out. He just wants enough space for him and his wife. And so we're just approving the rezone for that right now. So,
Why is there no minimum acres for private cemeteries?
that's what I had a note of,
Yeah.
May have
I
been.
couldn't find anything yet.
I thought
Yeah.
we changed all that about cemeteries.
We did, and see, if this rezone gets passed to allow that property to be split out, see, right now it can't split it out because it's a non-conforming A2, and if you make a change, you have to bring it into compliance. So he's wanting to split out about an acre, and then, it would leave 4.63 acres, so it would need to go to AR. But once that rezone, if it's approved, then he'll have to go through the whole private cemetery ballgame, where he will have to, submit perk tests, a care plan from an attorney that's drawn up, it has to be fenced, platted, a perpetual care plan and site plan must be approved by both boards. So that will be actually when the cemetery will come into play.
Where's the driveway?
Does he understand all that?
Yeah.
He does, yes,
Really?
he does, yes,
Okay,
sir.
but it's not gonna be a separate tract, the cemetery.
He's cutting it, now, what I was told that it had to be cut out and platted, the cemetery.
So, that's 9736, and y'all should be real impressed I'm doing this on the fly. So once approved, so at the end of this process you just talked about for private cemeteries, once approval's been given, a new plat showing the area designated for the private cemetery must be filed with the clerk of court's office. It's not a new tract.
It doesn't have to be
And
split out.
you're like showing the swimming pool on survey. It's still part of that tract.
Okay, well, I was advised differently
I bet you
by
were.
former.
Never mind.
Yeah.
Go in there.
So it doesn't have to be cut out then?
It's not cut out.
Yeah, it's just shown.
It's just shown.
I wouldn't-
So it doesn't have to be changed from A2 to AR?
Well, it's a non-conforming A2. So within the district's permitting private cemeteries, so does A2 permit a private cemetery?
It, does, it does.
And then the next question would be, if they're going to make this change, is that but that's not, you're not creating a new lot.
So,
I don't think it needs a rezone.
yeah.
That's what I was thinking, you don't need to change it. I mean, it's lawfully non-conforming as is.
Right. And
So-
what they're doing is allowed within that district.
Yeah, and you just show where it's at, not cut it off.
Right.
Unless they're wanting to cut it out, right?
Well, unless they're wanting, but a cemetery, but that'd be creating a non-conforming lot. We don't have a 1 acre classification. Private cemeteries, the first sentence is, within the districts permitting private cemeteries, the following requirements apply. So a cemetery still has its own classification. And it has to meet the minimum lot, minimum size among all the other requirements.
So he really doesn't need to ask, he really doesn't have to ask for a rezone. So that's what I'm hearing?
All right, hang on a second. Look at 9732 and tell me what that means. Oh, no, okay. Any new cemetery must meet the regulations of conforming lots, and said cemetery must not cause such conforming lots to no longer be conforming. What's that word salad mean?
I don't know, you translate.
Yeah. Cemeteries is not called each. So no longer be, what? Never.
I don't know what that means. I guess somebody could argue it means you can only do a cemetery on a conforming lot, in which case the rezone would be required.
It is a conforming lot.
No, it's a lawfully non-conforming lot.
Lawfully non-conforming, which means that it's conforming. To me,
So
if
it's,
it's lawfully,
Okay, well, I'm done.
it's non-conforming, right?
I mean, it says non-conforming, but it says lawfully in front of it.
No,
So that
but I'm
makes-
saying,
Unless you change it,
but here it's saying it can no longer be conforming in any nature. So what it's saying, the cemetery must not cause such conforming lot to no longer be a conforming lot. I mean, what's
Yeah,
it
you
be
can't-
non-conforming?
I mean, and that's generally true. I mean, we don't do changes that make conforming things non-conforming. But
Right.
what if it's already lawfully non-conforming?
Right. But it's already conforming. Or it's not?
No, it isn't.
Oh, no, it's not conforming.
And it's not the same thing.
Okay.
And I know we had it drawn out on there, and the cemetery gotta be set back 25 feet from the property line, right?
Yes, it does.
So,
All graves and burial lots must be set back.
Looks like you chopped out 1 acre, he could get 25.
Yeah, that was kind of the way he was guessing it to be. But that's when I was under the advisement that it had to be split out, but no minimum acreage was
So
required.
that means.
So maybe we just allow it to go through, but you're not gonna approve a plat for a 1 acre lot.
Right,
You're
right.
gonna approve a plat for this lot where the cemetery dimensions have been added in and shown.
Okay,
For 2
yeah.
graves, that can be a 10 by 10 space, right? I mean, there's no,
Mhm.
it just needs to be on the plan.
Yeah, and meet these setbacks.
I'll make it. So we'll go ahead and rezone
But
it.
he's asking for 1 acre.
We don't have to read on it.
What would be the bit, I mean, is it, he's lawfully non-conforming right now. What will it, if he changes his zoning, is that,
It'll just be conforming then, but what I'm saying is you don't have to rezone from lawfully non-conforming to conforming just to use your lot for the things that are permitted in classification you have.
For example, like you said, swimming pool, I don't need to go rezone for the swimming pool, but it'll show up on the plat.
Well, or even for
A building.
building a house.
Yeah.
I mean, that happens all day, every day.
So should we just advise him to
Well, the path of least resistance would be to pretend this conversation never happened, other than noting that we're not gonna have a new plat at the end of this. We're gonna have a new plat, but it's gonna be of the same lot showing the cemetery within it.
Okay, gotcha.
It'll still be 5.63 acres.
Right.
But it'll be conforming. to
But you
state law.
say, go ahead and rezone it.
Yeah.
So they can, they
The
are,
path of least resistance, if that's what, if you've already gone this far, why not go ahead and get conformity?
Right.
Okay.
All right, so once the zoning is satisfied, private cemeteries are a permitted use. According to the chart on page 72, they're a permitted use on virtually every zoning district. It's the public cemeteries that are conditional.
Right.
So the fact that this is permitted, does it have to come back later to be, can he just do it since it's permitted?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I
Well,
think he would have a good argument, again, whatever this 9732 means being the only catch, but I don't think it means anything, honestly. I can't make any sense of it.
If it were conditional use, it would have to come, we would have to.
Well, if it were conditional, typically they would submit the conditional use application with the rezone
The
application.
fact that it's permitted, he can just.
Yeah, he could just do it.
Get it.
That's right, that's right.
So why shouldn't he have to rezone?
But that goes back to what it is, so that's, are you gonna advise him to withdraw or go through? You've already gone this far, why not just, get conformity? And then he's, as Tracy said, he still has to do all these things in 973.
and that does say board must vote on it, the perpetual care plan and the site plan, is how it's noted in that section.
So he'd be
Now, he
coming
paid-
back to us,
He would,
yeah.
he paid for this request, right?
yes.
You wanna advise him to withdraw and give him a refund, that's okay with me.
We can only refund 50%, though.
Oh, that's right.
Percentage
Just change
part of
that.
Yeah.
nothing, 6% more than zero.
Yeah.
But we'll make it conforming.
Although making things conform is not always, let's see, do we have a,
It's not
oh,
a
yeah.
bad thing, but
You have this, you've gone to this new color code where I'm colorblind, so I don't know.
I know.
It's like,
I wish we could go back to the others, but I was told we have to go with the new one.
well, that's another, I didn't know we had decided to make the switch. I need to get you an ordinance to recognize that we've done an amendment. Get a
Gotcha.
text amendment through, if we could shore that up. It would be nice for, us disabled colorblind people to have it written instead of color coded.
I know. Yeah, I know. And the Owen, the gentleman that does the mapping, he said it's impossible to do it. It just won't fit on a lot of the parcels. I've asked him, but
Well, it depends on what resolution you're using. It becomes unreadable when you
yeah,
out. I
it
understand
does. It's awful, and we can't even photocopy it because it blurs it out. So we have to go special things just to print those things out.
How much? do
okay,
they
we got
charge?
a decision to make.
How much do they charge him?
250.
50%?
So he gets 125 back.
No, well, yeah, 125.
We get 125 back. But do we wanna go ahead with this rezone request? Or if it's not necessary, do we wanna just tell him, look, you get your $125 back and then you go to the next step? So, what does the board want to do?
Now, if he shows up.
Shouldn't it be his decision of where he wants to withdraw?
Yeah.
But- Right, but he has to be told.
Yeah, it could be told if he get hired some money back, or just go ahead and proceed and get a rezone where it be conforming.
But you have to tell him before he comes to court.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
We don't wanna make your life hard, Fred.
Okay. It's been,
You deal with it every day, though.
it's been circus for about 2 weeks.
So,
Oh, my goodness, so many monkeys.
but anyway, you're gonna talk with him
Yes,
and let him make the decision, okay? That sounds good to me.
okay. Give me just a second to make
All right.
this note.
All the complications.
What?
Okay. All right, next up, I think we got a simple one here. All right, it is, Brian and Heather Meadows, and they are requesting to rezone a 5-acre portion of their property from A2 to AR to allow it to be split off to gift her parents for a home site, and the remaining 12.1 acres will stay in the A2 zone. Property is located at 0 Fay Cary Road in Danielsville on map 50, parcel 28 in District 4. And, what it is, Brian and Heather own 2 adjoining parcels. The parcel that they're wanting to give, the 17-acre parcel that they're wanting to give the parents, is located right behind their home. There is an existing easement that accesses the tract, and she will use the same easement to access their new home. So it won't be that, it won't fall under the driveway ordinance where you have to bring it up to conformity. And just the remaining 12 acres will stay A2.
Will the parcel that's up here on the road owned by Mary Brown,
Mm-hmm.
see that? Will she come off of that easement in any way?
No, she's got an access from a
So
driveway.
just the 5 acres
Mm-hmm.
and the remaining 12 down here will.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Any further questions on that one? All right.
Okay. Oop. This one's another easy one. Let me pull this up real quick. All right, Dr. John Barton, applicant for his wife Michelle Barton, is requesting to rezone her 24.79 acres from A1 to A2 to allow a second home to be placed on the property as an accessory dwelling unit. Property is located at 5046 Highway 29 South in Colbert on map 44, parcel 147 in District 3. And currently, he is in an A1 zone, and it's just 24.79 acres, so he's shy of 0.21 acres from allowing it to happen without a rezone. But our ordinance doesn't give that flexibility anymore, so it is requiring him to rezone to A2, where you have to have a minimum of 10 acres for 2 homes.
So now, you have 3 barns, are they gonna be sharing the same well?
Let's see, he didn't say. They're tearing down one of the barns.
Or the
to
one
build
that's
that
Real
red?
ADU.
The red
Yeah.
one? The one that circled?
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Okay. So is that their house over there? Or, yeah, it must be their house over there.
Mm-hmm. And,
This is the driveway. That's a well for one more distance from them.
yeah, he didn't say if they would share one or not, but,
So what does it mean, replace 1929?
that's all right. Right.
replace?
That was a well.
Okay,
That
oh,
was
so
a
that's
well.
the current well over here.
Yeah, the current well's over here, that was an old well, that's an old well.
They should have kept that wells closer to the hospital.
Well, maybe when they did.
Well, I wonder if they could
They
reopen
might-
that one.
They might have, county, water there, on 29.
Is
Oh,
this-
yeah, they might have county water.
This doesn't say, but is this for a family member or what?
He didn't indicate.
And the reason I ask for that is looking at this current asphalt driveway, in all likelihood, it does not meet the requirements for a private drive. But if this is not a family member, it doesn't fall under the private drive,
It's not a separate lot,
do it?
not a separate lot. Oh, that's right, no, that thing says serving 2 residences.
Yeah.
I guess I never thought about that. Does that apply to, I guess it applies to ADUs too, doesn't it?
But
Well,
they're gonna build
but
right,
we're-
right on that asphalt drive.
Yeah.
But we're waiving the requirements if it's serving 2 residences if they're related.
Right.
But would the ADU be,
I mean, he's got road frontage, though.
separate? Because that's supposed to be like accessory dwelling.
Add that to our running list of problems with the private driveway ordinance.
Yeah. So I'm just wondering if this is for rent or for someone else to live in other than a family member, technically, they should meet the private drive requirements, correct?
But he's got road frontage.
I think it's family member.
Does that matter?
Right. Logically it does, because I think that's the way we always thought about it, but if you read the exact words of the ordinance, maybe it doesn't.
It's not really an easement. It's just your driveway. And it applies to easement,
I think it says the
in
easement
private
or drive.
drive.
See, you just keep writing words and new ordinances, everything.
Oh, yeah.
This is a deed.
He didn't say. He's very reserved.
You don't know, we asked a lot of questions, does
No.
So this is, 58-181 is what Lee's referring to. A private road is considered any current, I've never noticed that before, road, path, drive, or easement that is not part of the county road system, or the federal, state, or city road system, and it provides access to 2 or more residences.
Then there's a clause in there, somewhere in there about
Yeah, and then there's,
relative-
that's right, the exception 58-186, private roads serving 2 residences owned by immediate family members.
Yep.
Because nobody ever dies or sells property, there will always be immediate
That's right.
family members.
Mhm.
That's all.
I just wasn't viewing it that way, because it's just like, to me, it's a driveway, and they got road frontage, you know, and,
Yeah, I never thought about it either, I don't think that was the intent, but it's the way it's written.
Well, actually, I think this is a family member.
And that's kind of broad. What do you consider immediate?
It's listed in there. in
Yeah,
that ordinance.
it's,
Immediate family member, spouse, child, sibling, parent, or spouse of a child, sibling, or parent.
Okay, so what if they don't know yet who it's gonna be? You know what I mean?
Yes, they must identify someone and give them, an immortality shot, and prohibit them from ever selling their property.
Yeah. Exactly.
I remember, didn't we give one, she was an aunt, so she was not immediate.
Well, he's not asking us to put an
No, I'm
ADU on there, he's only asked to change from A1 to A2, is that correct?
No, he's saying for a second, to allow a second home.
Well, that's his purpose behind it, but that's not part of what you have to make, that's, yeah.
Essentially, yes, but once it's rezoned, ADU is permitted use under A2, so you can.
But not under A1.
He has to have 25 acres for A1.
He's just shy.
Well, he's a lawfully non-conforming A1.
Correct,
Then he would become a conforming A2.
correct.
Mhm.
And that's not just what he wants to do? He wants to put an ADU on there. He has an ulterior.
Yeah, so this private drive thing is, well, nobody does any rezone unless they wanted to, so they have a reason to do it.
Right,
That's not necessarily ulterior. So, you know,
So-
once he starts building the ADU, then that becomes a permitting and code enforcement question.
So,
Oh,
I don't think that was the intent. We've already talked about that. I mean, I'm not totally being facetious when I say add it to the list. We've already identified a number of problems with the way that things work. I think this is a new one.
Yeah.
well, going
There'll
back,
probably be some correction to it at some point.
going back to what I think Bruce is saying is, he wants to change from A1 to A2.
Now, then that gives him certain things, but is it incumbent on us to tell him that, hey, no, the ADU needs to, do this, it needs to be family, all the rest of that sort of stuff?
If he hadn't told us that he wanted to build a house there, he just wanted to change it to be conforming, then we wouldn't be having this discussion, right?
I've said that for a long time, that since these things are permitted uses, if they don't tell us what they're doing with it, they can get it rezoned, never mention it, and then march in here and get a permit to do stuff. I mean,
Well, it's written that way.
I didn't follow that second part of that. The permit will be, that's another level of review. So that's why I say this whole private drive thing, in this case, would be caught at that step, if you want to call it here. Now, as a matter of customer service, it's nice when people do tell Tracy what they want, so she can try to help them. It would also be nice if when Tracy has a set of ordinances that make it possible to do that.
I'm just trying to figure out, how would we not approve this? I mean, what would be the reason for not approving? Oh. Are you going to ask him that?
no, because we don't, that,
He can tell us if he tells us.
when they go get a permit, that would be when they would tell them about the
Why don't you
driveway.
just ask him, it's gonna be a family member, I'll solve the problem.
Okay, all right.
Well, what if he says no? It's not what that.
Then tell him that, there's an issue of interpretation, need to talk to code enforcement, see how they're gonna look at that when he comes to get his building permit for his AD.
I'm just having a hard time saying that as an easement when, they've got road frontage, and I know, I'm just seeing it as a driveway, but it's not.
But that's the problem you gotta fix here, possibly, is a private drive is not just easement. It is a road, path, drive, or easement.
Okay, then he tells us he was gonna use that.
Which has its own set of problems because those first three things are physical entities, and the fourth thing, easement, is a legal concept.
We're gonna use the
Nobody-
it's an assumption.
I know, that's what I'm saying, he might be building another
They
drive.
go for a hilltop.
No, he's got enough road frontage to
It's
put
not on
another
the site
drive.
plan if it is.
I wouldn't say so. Don't know.
We all.
All right.
So I will reach out to him and see if it's for a family
All
member.
right. Then that will solve all the problems.
You can link it,
Exactly. I know. All right, ready for the next?
Yes.
All right, Gary Harvin, applicant for Madison County Board of Education, is requesting to rezone a 2.40 acre portion of the property from A2 to A1 to allow it to be split and absorbed into the adjoining A1 property, identified as map 58, parcel 26. The remaining acreage will stay in the A2 zone. Property is located at 255 Colbert School Road in Colbert on map 58, parcel 25 in District 5. And what's happening is Mr. Leon Bell has adjoining property to the Board of Education, and he is just wanting that 2.40 acre portion to absorb into his 28.86 acre tract for a total of 31.26 acres. I think he's trying to make a barn fit, if I'm understanding correctly, and I think that's the whole purpose of it.
Questions, comments? All right.
Okay. All right, next. Johnny Duncan is requesting to rezone her 9.64 acres from A2 to AR to allow a second home to be placed on the property as an accessory dwelling unit. Property is located at 768 Adams Duncan Road in Hull on map 29, parcel 51 in District 3. Now, this is for a family member. The whole parcel needs to go to AR because it's a lawfully non-conforming A2. So we need to bring that into conformity, and it would also allow for her to have that second home. She's just not wanting to split the land and just wants it for a family member on her property.
Immediate, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
This plat was from 1988, and it shows a one-story frame house on it. Your public says that there is a mobile home permitted for the property. So my question is there one home already there or two?
I was going off Key Public, and she told me it's just one home and one shop.
Are there any improvements other than that mobile home shown on Key Public?
I didn't.
I don't remember.
2951.
Mm-hmm.
But this specifically says frame house for common owner versus a mobile home.
Right, I see that.
Where does it say frame house?
On the plat?
Yeah, but that's an old plat, right?
Yeah.
So
I imagine.
It may be gone.
It may be. I didn't see it in the Key Public
I just want
record.
to make sure we weren't
No.
authorizing them for an ADU.
Right.
All that's on there is a mobile home and a shop with a value of $4,361.
Okay.
So also the old plat shows it's 10 acres. If it really was 10 acres, she wouldn't even have to do the rezone.
Right. Probably the road right away got that. A lot of times they widen the road, and that gets a little bit of the acreage on a lot of the parcels.
Yeah, 'cause they don't have many down dirt road anymore either.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, this one shows the center line of the road is the property line.
Okay.
Okay, and the last one. Timothy Daniel Christian, applicant for his father Daniel Lee Christian, is requesting to rezone his 28.93 acres from A1 to A2 to allow the property to be split into 2 tracts consisting of 14.45 and 14.48 acres to gift his children. Property is located at 627 Foot McClellan Road in Colbert on map 46, parcel 221 in District 5. And, the dad's just wanting to split it pretty much in half, give one to the daughter and one to the son. There is a Piedmont well easement that's on the property. It's 0.23 acres. And the 14.48 acre tract will be landlocked, but we'll use the existing easement to access it. It's the same as the water line easement. Let's see. And no driveway ordinance because this is the only residence easement.
So they're wanting to use that existing 30-foot driveway easement?
Right.
Since this is, I guess you'd have to look at some of the legal documents on this, but the fact that this is an easement for the water company, I'm assuming there's water lines that run up that easement. Does the property owner have the right to utilize an easement that is there because of Piedmont Water? Do they have the line?
It says driveway and water line.
Yeah. So does the property owner have a right to use that easement if it's there for Piedmont Water?
Okay, where's the easement on the recorded plat?
Let's see. It's not on it.
It's on ours.
It's on here.
Now, on the site plan it is, but he was saying on the recorded plat.
Yeah, so why are we just, I don't think this 30-foot easement is existing, this is to be created.
Oh,
Well, now,
the well is already there.
Well, how is Piedmont getting to their station?
let's
Their
see.
well?
Well, it on Q Public, it has it, squared out the 0.23 acres. If you look at the Q Public sheet, the map.
It
It's
shows
a
the
little
easement.
blue square.
Or not, okay. Oh, I'm not.
And he had the right to use it. Okay.
There's nothing on track 1 at the moment?
Correct.
No house, no nothing?
No,
There's a home
just
being
a
built.
shed.
There's a home being built on the 14.48, right? On track 2. There was a home permitted on 4.4.
Yeah.
So they using that already.
So if they can't use that easement, then they just build a house back there for that.
Is that a civil matter, or is that something we need to be concerned with?
Right, yeah, I mean, I was just thinking, we're getting into doing a title search now, and I don't really care if Piedmont gets to their well or not. So, based on what we've been submitted, and that's all we can go on, the recorded documents, I don't see an easement that exists now. I do see an easement that will provide access to track 2. And it's also showing access to the well, that's fine. If there is an existing easement there and Piedmont Well claims that they can't use it for a driveway, I'd say that's between them.
Mm-hmm.
You said there's a house already being built back there?
There was a house permitted on 4.424.
Mm-hmm.
Whether they started it or not, I don't know.
The plan is for the son is building a house on the back, and the daughter in the front will, for now, just put cows on the front.
Tommy, you have a reference for that easement?
Is, it said, well, this has been surveyed 3/8/24,
Mm-hmm.
is that right? So, that's probably when they done the survey back, March.
Yeah. I think if Tommy, if there were an existing easement, Tommy would have found it, he would have given us a plat or deed reference for it.
Yeah.
So that's a new easement.
So,
So as
are
far as
we
we're
saying
concerned-
there's an easement or not?
There's not an existing one, one will be created, which is fine.
But then that property is landlocked. So do we?
No, it has an easement, that's why it's not landlocked. And it
Oh,
can be
so-
30 feet so long as it's an immediate family member.
Okay, I thought you were saying that it's not showing an easement.
The new plat will, the site plan shows one.
Okay? Before we leave this, that's the last one, right?
We need to discuss the
Yeah,
amendment.
before we leave that, before we go to number 2 there, I
Mhm.
wanna go back to ask the question about 5 and 6.
Okay.
That's the, Mr. Mitchell was talking about the future and what's gonna happen in the future and all that.
Uh-huh.
We can actually approve 5 and deny 6. Is that correct?
Okay.
Yeah, good.
So you're saying approve the rezoning, deny the variance?
Yeah. Cause he's got enough room to do what he wants to do.
And then he'll just come back when he figures it out, if he needs the variance for the.
Right.
Yeah.
Or, he hires a surveyor who suggests, the easier way to do this is 2 divisions with an easement instead of trying to get 3 road frontages.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I don't think that's gonna happen, because according to Tracy, she's tried to explain this to him numerous of times, and he just didn't quite understand.
Well, I mean, if he does this and he wants to create a 5-acre lot, then his next step, the way you do that is get the survey and then bringing it to be recorded. And any competent surveyor is gonna check the regs and say, you gotta have 150 feet. And then he'll say, I want you to draw it with 125, and the surveyor will tell him you need a variance, and then he'll come back and we'll start over.
Well, okay, but it just seems to me that
You're
we're
right.
approved 5 and not.
But somewhere in that, he may come to his senses and realize that a variance is not the way to attack this problem.
Mm-hmm.
But that's up to you. Okay, all right, we can move on, Mr. Tracy.
Okay.
My question is,
Next is the discussion of the proposed amendments for section 14.3 of the zoning ordinance. And I'm sure you guys got the red stripe copy and the resolution page. I don't know if you want me to read them all, or, but it's CPL, created this version, basically regarding the postponement, recommendation procedures, withdrawal procedures, and things of that nature. A lot of it, to me, is kind of a repeat on some of these. Did you notice that?
But that's the whole point, is it needs to be, because one's at DOC and one's at PUC.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it's the same, but not all of it.
Yeah. But, you don't have any questions about it? Okay.
Imagine that.
Imagine that,
What jumps
Lee.
out to me immediately is this all came about because of applicants' failure to appear.
Yes.
All that's been taken out. There is no mention of failure to appear in this whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
So what do we do with failure to appear?
I was just given this and told that was the way it was gonna be.
14383, it's there. Failure of the applicant is their authorized agent or attorney to appear. That's on the board of commissioners.
14.3.what?
83. So yeah, this is changed, this makes what, I guess this is I didn't notice it either. Oh, you know what? It still says before the Planning and Zoning Commission. The 14383 should be 14371 or 2 or 3 or something.
See, right above that where it says failure of the applicant, blah, 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 all that's been struck.
Where are you looking at?
That's where it says 14382, at the bottom, all this red, where it says failure of the applicant,
And strike
it's been
through.
struck.
Within 14383?
It's above 14.3.
So that's part of,
382.
that's part, yeah, so that's been stricken, but it's in, okay, so is that something different then?
I don't,
So that's,
And that was the whole reason we was redoing it,
I
was
don't see
failure
anything in
of the applicant.
14383 that mentions failure to appear.
I must be looking at something totally different. I'm looking at what you sent us on March 14th.
The red stripe,
Well, is that, am I looking at the right email? What you sent us on March 14th? No, that's too far,
That
that's
was
too far
in
back.
April the
Okay.
5th or something. Or whatever we got for,
I'm looking at the wrong one.
you want me
So when
to give
did
you
you
a
send it
copy
to
of
us?
it?
Here it is.
Got it?
Okay. No, let's see. 14. Send it to me, I don't.
Okay, well.
Oh, show it.
Here you go.
Okay. Okay, that was struck because it was in the wrong place. It was.
I didn't see it anywhere else.
talks a lot about postponement, but no.
Withdrawal.
Okay.
Failure to appear, no,
Right.
failure to appear.
Right. Yeah, it talks about withdrawal.
Yes, yeah. Talks a lot about that, but
Then we consider if he don't appear, he withdraw from the application.
It's not written in here, you know,
Well,
usually
Yeah.
it's not even in the new one. It's not here anywhere.
I see what it used to be.
well, with that being said, I think this is incomplete, it needs to go back and more work done on it.
Okay, is there anything else other than needing to put failure to appear back in 1437?
I'm sure this is just a matter of deletion. On the new one, where, under 14373, the last sentence says recommendations set forth in section 14272 and 14374. There is no 14272.
Yeah, that must be. I think that means 14372. Would that make sense?
Yes.
There is no 14.2.72.
So back to the failure to appear, it needs to go, what section, Mike?
That would need to be in 14373, it could become 14375.
Okay.
Isn't this where they're supposed to tell how much money they get back?
It tells it one of these.
I see one where it's.
14382. So 14382 it talks about getting 50% of the.
Withdrawal.
Oh.
Y'all still wanna leave it, no refund at all for failure to appear?
I would say yes.
More often than not, when there's a failure to appear, it seems to be because somebody was sick or something like that.
Should have been rated unexcused or something like that?
I mean, they should let somebody know.
Strike what I just said.
So do we want to put that in there or not? Let's try.
Well,
So you want to take the language that's stricken in red in 14.382 and make it, and put that into a new 14.375.
Well, we've got to make some kind of condition there, because like, it's just like this guy's, that cemetery thing, he was in the hospital, but I still think it's their obligation to let somebody know if at all possible.
We'll give you your money back if we think it's a good idea.
No.
No?
No.
There are no shows that are probably legitimate reasons and have been excused, and they're allowed to get back on that.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not opposed to that, but somebody that just doesn't know, that doesn't show, doesn't deserve their money back.
But they should go, should be just like you said, they've been put back in line. They should go to the tail end of the line. Like if she got 40 applicants in over the next 4 months, they should go on down.
I'm good with that.
How do you have them back, Tracy? You put them back into the next month?
If I have an available space, I do.
Unless she's over.
Yeah.
You know, some months we have 4, some months we have 13, some months we have 17. You know, what is an available space?
Well, if at the time that it's brought up, I'll see how many we've got for that month, and if I can squeeze it in, I do, and if not, I bump it to the next available month.
Well, if
It's
there's,
currently how it is.
if there's a no-show, they are put back in line,
If they contact me,
okay, and then is there any penalty other than that?
currently, no.
Okay. Right now, and
There's,
what about if they withdraw? Say, I can't make it to this
okay,
thing.
then that's stated in here that if they can do it in writing and we can postpone it, but we have to give that specified date as part of the hearing, and we won't have to re-advertise if we do it that way.
Okay.
So here's how the Oconee UDC handles it. It basically, I'm trying to avoid reading the whole thing. It basically says, if you don't show up, that's grounds for denial, but it's not necessarily an automatic.
Okay.
So,
So it's all in the wording, and then that's determined later?
yeah, although the board of commissioners may take final action on an application in the absence of the applicant or the applicant's representative, failure to attend may result in tabling or continuance in the board's sole discretion. Failure to attend the subsequent board meeting at which the application is scheduled to shall be grounds for denial.
Is that planning and zoning, or is that commissioner?
It's BOC at the
Well, they're not required to come to the public hearing of the BOC.
they are in the, I'm reading
Reading
the
over
county.
Yeah, I know.
So why do you want them, I always have wondered that, since we're talking philosophically, why is it worse to no-show for P and Z than it is for Board of Commissioners?
Because the VOC's the one that's the
Yeah.
final vote.
Right.
I've often wondered that same thing.
I wanted that too, but I mean, that's.
So then why don't now, since we're revising this, a possibility would be something like I just read from Oconee.
Is that
Right.
something
And
you
all
could
of
draft up, and is that something you could draft up, and,
If you got a Word version of that, sure.
okay, all right, and, okay, just,
Right, do we say that they have to attend both, or do we say that they don't have to attend the P and Z, but they do have to attend the VOC? Or do they have to attend both?
Public hearing?
Yes.
This is their problem, but if they don't attend our meeting, they're jeopardizing their ability to get it approved, because they may have information that we need that
Right.
we can't gain without them here.
I agree.
I think they need to attend in this.
Well, I think they need to attend the VOCs
But then
too.
again, if they choose not to come, it's their problem if we deny it. I mean, if we,
Because we don't have enough information.
we would have to re-advertise again and, do a new resolution. I guess run it by CPL.
Yeah, why don't I drop this language from Oconee's UDC into 14.3, I can put it 3.7 and 3.8, make it applicable at both levels, and, see what they say.
Okay. So I'll just advise Christina that this isn't gonna be approved next.
Well, I mean, you could still, I can get this, if it depends on CPL, I can get it to you tomorrow, it's just cut and paste.
Okay, yeah. Okay, well, just keep me posted, and, I'll send over that Word doc to you.
Yeah, send me that, I'll turn around and get it right back to you, and y'all
Okay,
send it to CPL, and just keep it on the agenda for now.
okay. I'll just revise the resolution.
Okay? Anything else?
To my knowledge.
Motion to adjourn.
All right.
Sure. What is, they follow them. Thank you. Ugly. Well, I tell you what, about it.
And that's your.
Yes, sir.
I was gonna look at it.
That morning played Georgia Tech.